Sorry.
So me being, a good for nothing millennial, I don't trust the mainstream media at all. So like Fox, MSNBC, CNN, I think they're all garbage. So fairly. I mean, like they're all, yeah.
Amen.
And so I didn't necessarily watch a lot of Tucker Carlson, but I know that he was the biggest name in mainstream media, in legacy media. Number one. Not just in at Fox, but overall, of all cable news. He was raking in all the views for in mainstream.
Well, dude, he was willing to ask the hard questions.
Yes,
I loved it, dude. I loved it.
Yes. So with his like surprise firing, I guess it wasn't like the tensions were high with him and upper management. I guess like the Murdochs that like basically own Fox and everything. They pretty much were very, I guess the Dominion lawsuit was the big thing that kind of kicked it off. But then also the ruffling the feathers was like January 6th, and then the Epps thing. It just pretty much Tucker was kind of siding a little bit more on the side of Trump and like the more of the farther, again, conspiracies. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy or not, but
you're right.
But Murdoch didn't like that. Also with these with this suit, basically, I guess the lawyers got a hold of private text of Tucker's, and like he was just talking shit on like everybody, like upper management, the Murdochs, everything. So like obviously they didn't
Good for Tucker,
dude. Honestly,
Who
no.
cares?
But here's the thing.
Right?
If like you have a boss, you have a couple things. Like aren't you like you're gonna talk a little shit? Like it's like it's a private conversation. But of course, like they got that. So obviously Murdoch didn't like that. And it's like, yeah, no, fuck you, you're out and everything. But again, I don't know, that's the extent that I know of it. Mm-hmm. But again, as far as can you fill in some of the blanks that I
mean, honestly, that's the bulk of it.
That was really good.
Yeah, no, that was good. Yeah, because it's interesting, right? Because so this came right after the lawsuit settlement, because they paid him off like $700 and something million is what they paid Dominion. And it was for a defamation case, right?
Yes,
because of the information with the potential of the election rigging and stolen, and there was, for a year or so, I mean, even today, I feel like there was some compelling evidence that at least raises a question. Maybe not saying that it's absolute, but but what's interesting is that goes to, that goes to court as a company, right? And you think about like all mainstream medias and potential defamation cases. You know what I mean? There's like a COVID, and like, I can't wait for 10 years to hear about what that's going to do. Whether, whatever side of the aisle that you agree with, right? You essentially can take both sides to lawsuits depending on how well you can articulate your problem.
Right.
And so to see that happen, and then the firing or the letting go or however this really went down with Tucker is very interesting. But I think the craziest part is, like you guys are saying, is number one, we watched person for news, really, and he averaged over 3 million views a night.
That was wild.
3 million views,
so
a night.
I will love to see what
that's crazy.
Tucker Carlson's next step is. Unless he goes like full, like, hey, I'm retiring, because he's done very well financially.
He's worth $400 million.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
So I guess the next move for Tucker, depending on if he signed like a a non-competitive agreement or something. Non-compete laws. Yeah, clause. One of those. So it's like 1 to 3 years. So basically, I think that his goal is to try to like get out of that as much as possible, so that he could do his own thing, because he doesn't need Fox News. He can go independent and he can crush it, because people are
Tucker News.
Yeah.
Well, I read an article today. They're saying. They're saying, like insiders, who his next move should be is if he stays private, like doing his own podcast or something like that. They're saying he's going to bring in $100 million.
Oh yeah,
for himself easily, and that'll be there will be no middle person. There's no news agency that's going to take a cut.
Right,
it's all his.
Yeah.
And dude, he can basically just mirror Joe Rogan's platform and do the same thing, whether he wants
to talk and do what he wants.
Well, right. Yeah. So whether it's delivering news or, whatever the case is, but he's got one, he has the following that's automatically going to be generated, whatever his destination is. Two, what I would love to see is he sticks as an independent.
Yeah.
Because I think, actually I was listening to, you guys know Russell Brand. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I watched that.
You watched
where
that?
and actually that's the thing that gave me a little bit of respect for Tucker, because before that, I thought I was it's just another conservative Fox News pundit, and I'm I really don't care and everything. But when he had that conversation or that interview with Russell Brand, Russell Brand's very out there, and who's very you would say he's I guess a liberal, but he's kind of come around to being more of a centrist and everything.
Russell Brand?
Russell Brand.
Oh, yeah.
Which I like the Russell Brand. It's crazy to think. I was wow, from forgetting Sarah Marshall to giving us the news, and actually.
He's deep. Okay, so when you say centrist, so everybody